Senator Durbin, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Good to be with you, Chuck.
So I'm going to start with the stunt, I guess is the best way to call it, that Governor DeSantis did when trying to fund the flight of migrants in Texas that he claimed might have been coming to Florida. He had and sent them to Massachusetts. Here was his rationale for it, and then I want to ask you more on the other side.
We are not a sanctuary state, and it's better to be able to go to a sanctuary jurisdiction. And yes, we will help facilitate that transport for you.
All right. Do you think these whether it's these bus tickets to the Naval Observatory, New York, D.C., or Martha's Vineyard, do you think the federal government should stop them and prevent them from happening?
Well, I can tell you this. I've been to the Salvation Army Rescue Center in Chicago, and I've met with the people who came off the buses. I sat down with one of the families, and they told me the story. It is pathetic that these governors are taking advantage of these helpless people, making promises to them to get on the bus and life is just going to be fine, and off they go to places far removed from where they're supposed to be appearing under the requirements of our law in a matter of weeks and months. So he's jeopardizing their stay in the United States when each governor makes this decision. Mm-hmm. And the second part I want to raise is this, Chuck. Why is it when the Republicans want to enforce their immigration theories, it's always the kids that end up being the victims? Mm-hmm. We saw it with kids in cages. We saw it with the forcible removal of children from their parents, some who've never been reunited with their families. And now, once again, it's the kids and families that are put on these buses and transported for political purposes across the United States.
Do you believe laws were broken here by Governor DeSantis?
I don't know if the laws were specifically broken, but they have broken every basic standard of decency when it comes to dealing with children and families. These people are, at the moment, legally in the United States. Some of them, one family I met, it's been 5 months coming up from Venezuela, literally walking to our border. They went through every possible outrage that you can imagine, from theft, stealing their cell phones, pushing them into a jungle for a period of time where this man didn't think he could survive, and they finally made it to the United States only to be exploited by the governor of Texas in their case. I just don't think that when you get down to the basic rules of politics, this passes the smell test.
All right, Senator, let's talk about the actual issue at the border. We're getting upwards on average, I think, 8,000 folks a day. We're already over 2 million for the year. Right now, I do not believe the federal government has the authority, that ICE or DHS has the funding authority to, help move these folks to other parts of the country. Do you think they should have that authority?
We put a dramatic investment into our border operations, and President Biden has called for that, and we have supported it on a bipartisan basis. But I want to tell you the bottom line, and it's a cliche about our broken immigration system, is the truth. Unless and until we come together in a bipartisan fashion, in the Senate particularly, and once again entertain a comprehensive immigration bill, we're just inviting trouble. Across my state of Illinois and virtually every other state, there is a desperate need for workers. Our birth rate is not keeping up with our demands for workers, and in every walk of life that you can imagine, we need more people. And there are those who want to serve this country, but we need an orderly process at the border. To do that, we need Congress to do its part on a bipartisan basis. The Republicans complain about the situation, and it needs to be changed dramatically, but they won't engage in helping us reach any kind of solution.
I want to play for you what the Vice President told me about her take on the border and get your comments. Take a listen.
The border is secure. But we also have a broken immigration system, in particular over the last 4 years before we came in, and it needs to be fixed.
We're going to have 2 million people cross this border for the first time ever. You're confident this border is secure?
We have a secure border in that is a priority for any nation, including ours and our administration. But there are still a lot of problems that we are trying to fix, given the deterioration that happened over the last 4 years.
You know, Senator, I understand your comment about the Republicans here, and I think there's a lot of evidence that many of them would prefer the issue for the ballot box than a solution. But Democrats don't look like they're anxious to do something. You're an exception. You're one of the few people that wants to talk about this issue and try to solve it. But you know, there's a lot of Democrats that would prefer to ignore it and hope that, hey, we'll deal with it maybe at another time. How do you fix that mindset?
There's political danger. Don't get me wrong. But we faced that 8 years ago when we sat down with our gang of 8, with John McCain, myself, and Schumer, and even Senator Graham, and came up with a comprehensive plan that was embraced by business and labor and groups across the board. We passed it in the Senate, Chuck. You'll remember that. 14 Republicans voted for it. 5 of them are still around today. And then sent it over to the House where it died. Unfortunately, the Republican leadership refused to take it up. It can be done. We can make the border safe and have a system of legal entry into the United States to work, put these people on the books, have them pay taxes, make sure we've done a background check. All of these things can be done. Are they controversial?
Yeah.
You bet. Some of them are very controversial, but we know we need to do it. The United States is a nation of immigrants. I'm proud to be the son of an immigrant who came to this country. But I will tell you, if we're going to do it in this era, we can't wait another 30 years to get around to a solution.
I want to pivot to a couple other things that that are under your umbrella as Senate Judiciary Chair in particular. If Democrats hold the Senate but Republicans take the House, are you prepared as chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee to essentially take over the January 6th investigation?
Well, I can tell you this. This is a remarkable investigation. I know they're going to have at least one more hearing before the end of the year. I don't know if they have concluded their remarks, or concluded their investigation, I should say, or more has to be done. But that was a seminal event in American history. I was there, and many members of both chambers were there, when this insurrectionist mob stormed the Capitol. Yeah. 5 people died, 149 law enforcement were injured, and sadly, most Republicans, the overwhelming majority of Republicans in Congress, want to ignore it, not even ask the question. It has to be asked. It has to be part of our history. So I want January 6th committee to do its work in the House. And if there's more work to be done and I'm in position to call for it, you bet I will.
Well, I was just going to say, during the lame duck, I mean, if the Republicans don't want to continue the January 6th, but the committee, you're prepared to essentially take over the investigation if that's what's necessary to get, to protect whatever materials could be threatened if this investigation isn't over, because it's my understanding they're not going to finish by the end of the year.
But there's one key difference. In the Senate Judiciary Committee, in order to issue a subpoena, you need bipartisan agreement to do it. That's not the case, I understand, in the House.
Right.
So if the Republicans want to resist this, it's going to be difficult to continue the investigation. I hope the House gets it done.
Finally, really quickly, on same-sex marriage, are you at all concerned that if Republicans win the Senate, that in the lame duck, you won't get the votes to codify same-sex marriage?
I am worried about that, but my North Star in this issue is Tammy Baldwin of Wisconsin. She has led the bipartisan effort, and she believes this is the right way to deal with it. I defer to her, but this is a serious issue, just like the Dobbs decision. Clarence Thomas made it clear that he's going to move toward Obergefell, the Supreme Court case related to gay rights in this country. We better take him seriously.
Senator Dick Durbin, number 2 in Senate leadership, also chairman of the Judiciary Committee. Thanks for coming on, sharing your perspective.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.